All right, five All-Stars, but four games over 500. The Padres humbled a bit this weekend by Arizona after the big Friday. We had a huge YouTube chat and stream on Friday night, but the last couple of days, the loss in extras on Saturday, followed up by today. Jim goes, the Padres lose.
My
This on the
fault.
heels of Jim saying who's going to walk off for the Padres in a loss on Saturday night. So we can blame Jim a little bit. Padres lose a series to Arizona. They had won 12 of 15 coming into Saturday. They lose two straight. They're off Monday. They're actually off two of the next 4 days, two-game series against the Mariners. And then they're actually off 6 of the next 11. They play 5 before the All-Star break, and then they're off for 4 games for the break. So they lose 9-1. Make your way in, all right? Year-round content for Padres fans. How about this? Whether you're here live or on replay, thank you. 6,500 subscribers because of you guys. We got there this weekend. Appreciate you guys. So please subscribe. We'd love to get to 6,600 this week. So please subscribe and please tell Padres fans about the channel. Smash the like button for us. Follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. Thank you for the supers. As you know, it's a great way to support our work and the channel. Just click the $ below the chat box. If you want to become a member, you can click the join button down below. Jim, you were there for it. You got burnt. You were at the beach on Saturday. You got burnt. You followed it up by getting burnt at a day game at Petco Park. Why did you go? Because the Padres lost 9-1.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't get burned at the game today because I was in a suite, so there was no sun to be. Yeah, just no big deal. Just eating Philly cheesesteaks, some sushi, and some mini donuts that they had in there. But I mean, besides that, that's
you up.
What?
Group Dog hook you up?
Group Dog did hook me up. He hooked me up for sure. Shout out Group Dog. I got burned yesterday, John. So it wasn't today. It was yesterday. I was an idiot yesterday. Today I was fine.
Okay.
Yesterday I was an idiot. I digress. Today's game was just from the Padres perspective. Besides Jerks and Profar's home run and Dylan Cease up until the 7th inning, I mean, shit was so boring. I mean, they didn't get one runner to second base.
Right, other than the home run.
Other than the home run. They didn't have one runner in scoring position the entire game. Dylan Cease gives up far too many home runs. I mean,
way too many.
I mean, I know today, if you want to look at it and you look at his start just in a vacuum, it was a nice start. But, like, I mean, dude's giving up home runs left and right. I mean, pretty much the first pitch of the game, Corbin Carroll home run. 7th inning, 2-run homer. Like, his day started with giving up a home run, and his day ended with him giving up a home run. This has gotta change. Now, again, if the team scored some runs today, it would have been a start that we would have probably been like, yeah, it's a good start. It's still considered a good start. I just am looking at what he's done lately. And by lately, I mean like the last 2 months pretty much. And just too many home runs, man. Just way too many home runs given up.
Yeah, 2-out walk too there in the 7th inning, which kind of opens up the possibility. And then he allows that home run that was just over the left field fence. I mean, how many?
Yeah, it was just
350 maybe.
Yeah.
And the home run he allowed in the first 3-1 pitch, I want to say, to Carroll that was hit over the right field wall. But you're right, he's allowing way too many home runs. Even if today wasn't a couple of 400-foot shots, still 2 home runs. And then the offense against Ryan Nelson. I mean, Ryan Nelson has not pitched well. And the Padres have hit Ryan Nelson since he made his Major League debut and shoved against the Padres, I think, a couple of years ago. So, you'd like to think you could capitalize at home and win a series against Arizona. You kind of leave them very much in the conversation in this wild card race in terms of positioning with you. I want to say Arizona's maybe 2 games behind San Diego. Padres are 2 games up in a playoff spot. They're fine, like we've said a lot. I mean, they're 4 games over 500, better than the alternative 2 weeks ago. They were 3 games under 500. I look at it this way, Jim. 5 games to go until the break. Go 3-2 or better, and you have to be thrilled. You'd be 5 games over 500 or better. You go 2-3 or worse, and it feels like you're leaving something out there, and you'd be 3 games over 500 at best, and then you have that big 9-game road trip coming up as well. So I don't know if it's an opportunity squandered when you score 1 run and lose 9-1. I'll tell you what, we'll talk about it coming up as well. Saturday night was an opportunity squandered. There's a lot of reasons I would say that. They had chances to win that game. They didn't capitalize. Mike Schilt was asked about playing the infield in the 10th inning in a tie game. He said, I could have gone 50-50 on it. A ball gets through. the left side. If the infield's back, a run scores, but not more than that. And then who knows what happens. So I think of the two games, the opportunity that was squandered was probably more on Saturday than it was on Sunday.
For sure. Yeah. Today's game, it was a close game up until the 7th inning when the Diamondbacks scored 2 runs, 1 run, and then 5 runs in the 9th to completely blow it open. But it was a close game for majority of it. I mean, the thing went by quickly. Like me and Aaron were talking to each other around like the 6th inning. We looked at our phones. It was like, it's been like an hour and 40 minutes. And the game was flying by. But that's because it was good pitching on both ends. Just not a lot of offense either way. And then the bullpen comes in and, DC gives up the 2-run homer. Bullpen comes in and completely just lets everything go to shit. It was no way around it. It was a disappointing series. They could have easily got swept this series,
Definitely. Well, they also led 7-2 in the 9th in game 1, but yeah.
True. Absolutely. You're right. And I think the main thing coming out of this series, John, was the bullpen. Now, I don't know if you heard Schulte talk post-game, but again, he took exception to bullpen issues. I don't know if you heard that.
I did. I watched the whole thing from Marty's YouTube channel. I mean, I'm kind of team Schilt, to be honest. It's not like it was Suarez and Estrada and Morejon getting rocked. It's like
he's right from that
trailing. Yeah, you're throwing Wandy Peralta and Aniel De Los Santos. Yeah, those are guys you could use upgrades from, but they shouldn't be pitching in leverage spots, and they weren't today. Davis and De Los Santos. I mean, you're trailing, so that's why they're in the game.
No, and I actually was about to say, like, I kind of agreed with Schulte. Like, Suarez has had 2 bad games this year. Friday night and the Phillies lost on in Philadelphia. Those are his only 2 bad outings of the season. Yuki Matsui has been really good over his last 7 appearances. Adrian Morejon has been very good. Jeremiah Estrada has been very good. Wandy Peralta, Aniel De Los Santos. If you want to go their new guys here, Davis and guys like Cosgrove and let me just pull it up here.
Kolek's been good.
Kolek's been actually pretty good.
He's been really good.
Yeah. I'm talking about like Austin Davis and the Wandy Peralta and the De Los Santos. And I know Cosgrove got sent down again, but when he was up, like that's where the bullpen numbers get blown out of proportion because those guys flat out stink right now. They just do. De Los Santos, he's mop-up duty guy. Wandy Peralta, you don't really know exactly what you're fully going to get from him. Austin Davis, I mean, he's new, so it's like, what do you expect?
Sure.
And those are the 3 guys that are kind of, making the bullpen numbers look really bad. Because like AJ Caswell tweeted it out. He said that in 3 games against the Diamondbacks this weekend, the Padres bullpen allowed 16 runs in 8 2/3 innings. It's not great.
Good. Not good. I mean, it's terrible. But the bullpen on the road and the previous homestand was outstanding. I mean, here's if it's a question about whether they're going to make a move for their bullpen. I mean, that's not even a question. Of course they will. I mean, there's no scenario in hell where the Padres between now and July 30th don't upgrade their bullpen. Doesn't mean it's going to work. It doesn't mean whoever they acquire. People were excited about Aniel De Los Santos to begin the year. And they were excited at times about Wandy Peralta and Yuki Matsui and whoever the other Yusuke Go. So they'll make the attempt. Make no mistake. I guarantee you they'll make the attempt to upgrade their bullpen. I think they've got 3 really good pieces in Morejon, Estrada, Suarez. You need more. Every team needs more, and they'll look to get more. They need more starting pitching. You can't have Yu Darvish go on a personal leave for the rest of the year and not need more starting pitching. You can't have Joe Musgrove not back until August at the earliest and not need more starting pitching. You can't have Dylan Cease pitch like this and not need more starting pitching. So honestly, between the 2, back end help and starting pitching, I'm still going with starting pitching over back end help. I think their frontline A team and the bullpen's very good. I think the rotation over the course of the next 2.5 months is probably susceptible considering Musgrove and Darvish.
I agree. But I also stand on the side of like they need both. It's not a one or the other thing. It's a both thing. They need both. I mean, we can sit here and talk about what's more important, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, the equation equals they need both. They need starting pitching and they need bullpen help. Plain and simple. So, yeah, we can toss and turn about what's more important, what. They need both. Preller will go out and he'll attempt to get both. And that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. He's got 3 weeks and a day, I think. 3 weeks and 2 days, 23 days from the deadline. And 4 of those are the All-Star break. He's got a lot of off days in there. I think most of the work, if not all the work, gets done after the All-Star break would be my guess, which is coming up next week. We can talk about the Padres All-Stars. The biggest story is going to be the trade deadline. I mean, it is because they're likely not to have put themselves in a position where they've clinched anything. I mean, not technically, but it's not like they're going to go 10-0 in their next 10 games. And you're just worrying about playoff positioning. And they're not going 0-10 in their next 10 games where they're going to play themselves to the outside looking in. They've been good recently, even with the last 2 days. With all that being said, it's like sometimes you got to like pay up. You don't have Fernando Tatis Jr., you don't have Yu Darvish, you don't have Joe Musgrove, you don't have Xander Bogaerts. You have to address some of these needs. And you're right, the leaky bullpen is a factor, especially like the secondary pieces that aren't pitching in high leverage spots necessarily. You'd like to upgrade there. I don't know if you want to upgrade in right field because of Tatis. I don't know the status of Tatis moving forward like the Padres hopefully do. But, I mean, even yesterday, and any player could be in this spot. We've been critical of Manny Machado or Fernando Tatis Jr. for not coming through in a spot. Bases loaded run in for Bryce Johnson, who strikes out, and that begins a series of 3 consecutive outs to end the 10th inning for the Padres. So, you know, maybe they can upgrade in right field. I don't think they can upgrade everywhere. I know they're going to upgrade their pitching staff in some capacity, whether it's starter, reliever, or both. I think it's going to be both. And we'll see. I mean, he's got to do it over 23 days, and I'm pretty sure he's going to make multiple moves between now and the trade deadline.
They can do better than Bryce Johnson. Bryce Johnson is, I mean, he shouldn't be on this team.
Just a guy.
He's just a guy. He should be in the minors. And what they're going to do, which is also hilarious, how they always do this. Did you see tonight that Eggy Rosario is playing right field in the minors?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He threw a guy out at third base.
I mean, he should be because they have a need, you know?
Yeah. And I think they like his bat. I think versus
I like his bat.
Versus lefties, he's been really good this season in limited time. And Bryce Johnson ain't it. And truthfully, David Peralta, truthfully ain't it either. And Tyler Wade, and again, ain't it. He's a bench piece that Mike Schultz likes to deploy in certain situations. Pinch runner, go get a bunt, fill in defensively somewhere. But he's not an everyday guy. He's just not. And I'm not saying Eggy Rosario is an everyday guy, but at least he has the best bat out of all the guys I just named.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be telling, though, John, don't you think, if they went out and traded for a right fielder or an outfielder?
Yeah, it would be. Definitely. I think they'll wait on that until they know more on Tatis. If Tatis kind of forces their hand, I expect Tatis to return, but what do I know? I mean, I just know that the initial prognosis was like 6 to 14 weeks. And a lot of times with professional athletes, you're thinking shorter than longer. But Tatis has been an enigma with his health. I think 6 weeks probably gets him back by like the beginning of August because it's been a couple of weeks and it's early July. But if it's 14 weeks, you're talking about the season potentially for Tatis. Can you risk having Bryce Johnson out there if Tatis doesn't get healthy? Probably not.
No, you can't. You really can't. For a week, yeah. For a month and a half, no. He does not deserve as much time as he's getting on this team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just can't do it. Frankly, same thing with David Peralta. David Peralta is not an everyday guy right now. No chance.
No, he's definitely not.
They have a gaping hole in right field. They do.
Yeah. I mean, they absolutely do because you can't bank on. I mean, I guess you can bank on Tatis getting hurt, but they need him to be healthy. I mean, when you invest like that and you plug him in, platinum glove guy that should have a 900 OPS.
Yeah.
when he's having a good year.
Yeah.
You're counting on him. They count on him. Now, any player can get hurt. We understand that. It's a possibility. It's just Tatis gets hurt more than other players, unfortunately. Gus, appreciate the first super of the night. Guys, over here, subscribe. You're on Content for Padres fans. Smash the like button. And again, we appreciate your super chats. Click the $ below the chat box. Great way to support our channel. Appreciate the super. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Let's talk Hosmer for a moment. And then we can get to the All-Star players going to the All-Star game and trade deadline and this weekend or whatever. Eric, we wake up to a text from Ben Fadden, or I woke up to it. You woke up later to it. That was Hosmer quote tweeting like a short, a reel from us from May 14th, where Jim said Manny Machado had to be better, which was completely accurate and factual because on May 14th, he was like one of the worst position players in the National League. Shoot, he was right there on June 14th. And Eric Hosmer quote tweeted it and basically called Jim a clown.
Basically,
in fact, I think he called you a clown.
He used the clown emoji.
He used the clown emojis. Then Yonder Alonso replied and also used the clown emoji regarding you. But most people then replied and took your side because Manny Machado was needing to play better in May. And by the way, July isn't May, so he's been better. And Manny Machado called himself out like 2 weeks ago for needing to be better.
Did you know that Yonder Alonso actually deleted his tweet?
I did not know that.
Because he replied to the tweet with a clown emoji of himself calling me a clown. And then I looked back at it and it said tweet was deleted. So
maybe you're not a clown after all?
Or maybe he realized this was from 2 months ago. He's like, oh. He's like, oh, I probably shouldn't.
Yeah, maybe Hosmer didn't, truthfully.
Maybe not. But he also took one of my tweets from, I think, also 2 months ago and quote tweeted it as well. And that didn't really get much play.
What was that one?
It was let me see here. It was May 14th. So it was also May 14th. So 2 May 14th.
He was right there, man. He was waiting for this moment.
Well, it's funny because this tweet actually has one bookmark on it. I wonder who that bookmark is.
I guess it was Hosmer.
Guess it was Eric Hosmer. I tweeted out whispers. It's not about swinging at the first pitch. That's a pitch Manny has crushed so many times in his career. What it comes down to is he's not getting it done this year so far. He's been awful and needs to be a lot better. Pretty simple.
What did he say to that?
He tweeted something of like a guy like sitting there, like taking off his glasses, like, now what? I don't know, just whatever.
Oh my gosh.
But this one,
like Eric Hosmer, what are you doing?
This one, John, has 183,000 views.
Yeah, but thanks to Eric Hosmer.
Hunter the Beer Kid said that Manny was hitting 228 with a 282 on base and a 354 slugging for a 637 OPS at the time with 5 home runs and 22 RBIs on the day that I made this statement.
Yeah, if you want to call Jim out for something, you can call him out for the tweet when Juan Soto was traded that says, if you're excited tonight about Michael King and prospects, I don't know what to tell you, LOL. The Padres just traded a top 10 player in the sport tonight. You can't spin that. And then
I called myself out, so whatever.
Tweeted that, and then everyone kind of reacted to it and called you an idiot. But again, most people thought trading away Juan Soto wasn't exactly the best thing in the world, or the pieces they got back would be. I mean, listen, the pieces they got back have been beneficial. Higashioka has been incredible as a backup catcher by and large.
10 home runs, dude.
Primary role. He's hit more home runs than Nola did in his entire career here. Thank you, Ben Fadden, for that. Obviously, Michael King's been great. He's not being skipped, by the way, in the rotation. Everyone's only making one start from here until the All-Star break. So they're just using them as appropriate, I guess, matchup dependent. He's not being skipped. Randy Vasquez has been terrific here recently. And then Johnny Brito's being stretched out. He hasn't been great, but he's young. So they have gotten a lot of production from that trade. There's no question about that. And it's at least a part of the story as to why they're where they are right now because of Higashioka and Michael King. They've both been really valuable for this team.
Very valuable. And Randy Vasquez, I think, has been extremely valuable as well. He was not in the rotation to start the year, right?
Correct.
Yeah, it was Matt Waldron who was in the rotation.
Yep.
He was the 5th starter. Now Matt Waldron's like their ace. But Randy Vasquez was not in the rotation. I don't even believe he started the year with the team. I think it was Johnny Brito, who was a guy that they put in their bullpen to start out. And I think Randy Vasquez started the year down in the minors. And now Randy Vasquez has been a pretty crucial piece of this rotation for the last month or so. I mean, he's had one bad start in his last 7 starts, I think it is 6 or 7 starts. And you take out that one bad start versus the Phillies, he's got an ERA under 3. So he's been very valuable. Kyle Higashioka has been very valuable. Michael King has been very valuable. Drew Thorpe ended up being valuable in the sense of he was part of the trade to get Dylan Cease here.
Yep.
Say what you want about Dylan Cease, but at least Dylan Cease makes a start every 5th day and gives you a bunch of innings. And then Johnny Brito's now down in the minors trying to get, stretched out to be a starter. So they've been valuable pieces, nothing like crazy, but they've been valuable pieces for sure and helped rounded out this team in areas where they had issues.
Michael King's been really valuable. He's got a 2 WAR right now. And I would imagine Higashioka's got over a 1 WAR. He's got a 1 WAR. So that's a combined 3 WAR. I'm just looking up Soto's year. Obviously, started out like a firecracker. He's a 4.5 WAR. But that's kind of comparable. I mean, you get Higashioka, King, Vasquez, 3.5 WAR. I mean, again, you're never getting, obviously everyone gets it. You're not going to ever get a player of Juan Soto's caliber in a trade like that, but can you collectively make up for his loss? That was always the question.
Yeah.
Plus, he wasn't a 6 WAR player here last year or a 7 WAR player, whatever he's trending to be in New York. So it's worked out for both sides, truthfully. I mean, it's worked out. The Padres are fine where they are. They've got a better record today than they did a year ago. And the Yankees have a better record today than they did a year ago as well, even though the wheels are falling off for the Yankees. So I would say it's worked out.
It's not like you traded for Juan Soto and traded away the number 1 prospect in baseball and an all-star at shortstop and a frontline starting pitcher, and it's fine.
Yeah, but you can't. I mean, that happened and we all were on board with it.
I'm kidding. I would have done the same thing no matter what, every day of the week. I'm kidding.
I know. So it's all good. I mean, they made a National League Championship Series. Again, you would have wished they made a World Series. And now on the other side of Juan Soto, they're better positioned than they were maybe in 2023. We'll see. I don't know if they're going to be better than 82 and 80. I have no idea. I think they're better positioned to do it, but I also think they're dealing with a massive number of injuries that are concerning. Like the Yu Darvish thing, I assumed he was coming back. And then it was radio silence. Why? Because he's gone on this restricted list. And we're not going to see him. And I don't know if we'll see him again this season or not, but I'm not counting on it. And then Joe Musgrove, I'm more concerned about his actual health, the injury that he's dealing with, and the IL stints he's had, and what he was dealing with in 2023. So, like, they're dealing with real injuries right now. That's the real concern. I'm not worried about the makeup of the team. I think the makeup of the team is really good. I think they've shown they can deal with adversity very well. But can they deal with these significant losses for this amount of time? Tatis, Musgrove, Darvish. That's the question in the second half of the year.
Well, they're in a stretch where they were playing exceptional baseball. First time we've seen this type of stretch in meaningful games in over 2 years. They come home and you think this thing is just going to keep rolling on, and after Friday night, you're like, shit, this team is like unstoppable. I mean, they're going to, could they be 7-8 games over at the break? I mean, if they have a really good homestand here and like you said, on that Saturday night, you have the bases loaded. Bryce Johnson's up, big spot, strikeout. And then with no outs, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, run was in. You were down 2. You were a base hit away from a tie, a double away from a win.
Yeah, you strike out. And then today, they just offensively they could do nothing. I mean, literally nothing offensively today.
Yeah.
And so now you have a stretch where you've won 11 of 13. You've gone 9-1 in a 10-game stretch. You are season high 5 games over 500.
They were 6 over 2 days ago.
Yeah, you're season high 6 games over 500. And then we sit here Sunday night. You lost the series. You're back to 4 over. The injuries you have are things that we still talk about. Your bullpen this series was crap. And you faced 2 pretty damn good teams before you go to the All-Star break in Seattle and Atlanta. And you just do not want to throw away what you have done in the last couple of weeks here. And what I mean by that is if you go to the break 3 over, still fine, still good. I think a month ago, if you said they would go to the break at 3 over, we'd all sign up for it right now, right? But
yeah, I wouldn't say they've thrown anything away if they're 3 over. That I would say if it's worse than that, good. they've given something back.
That's what you wouldn't feel great about it, and they gave something back, and you didn't throw away everything, but you had an opportunity there to really distance yourself from 500 and give yourself a little bit of wiggle room to start the second half, which is going to be a pretty daunting road trip, by the way.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, no, it's a fair point. Listen, we can't summarize the homestand on this series because we don't know if they go 4-1 or 1-4 or somewhere in between. Because if they can finish this thing off 4-1 against Seattle and Atlanta, big if, then you're talking about a 5-3 homestand, which we said was incredible. If they can finish off the first half at 5-3 or better at home, we said everyone's going to take that. You just continue to roll. But to your point, I think you go 1-4 here, or even 2-3. You go 2-3, you're 3 games over. You go 1-4, you've given it back. I'm with you on that. You go 1-4, and you're 1 game over at the break, and then you've got the Baltimores and the Clevelands and the Washingtons awaiting you on the other side. You don't feel good about anything.
No,
you don't feel good about anything. So they can't do that. They can't play that kind of baseball that we saw earlier this year. Now Seattle's in first place in the AL West. They're basically San Diego in terms of record, but they're in first place in the AL West. And then Atlanta, has been up and down. Truthfully, they haven't been near what they were with Acuna recently, but they're still good. There's something like 10 games over 500. So it's a big stretch, and it's an opportunity for the Padres that we'll be discussing here in the days ahead, certainly on John and Jim and on the wrap-up show. All right, we're going to get back to the conversation in a moment. Please subscribe. We just passed 6,500 subscribers with your help. If you are a Padres fan, if you're looking for more Padres content, please subscribe. Year-on content for Padres fans. We can't do this without your support, whether you're here live or on replay. We can't do this without Mark Nimitz. We've told you about Mark for 3 years. He's been our title sponsor on the wrap-up show for 3 years, which is incredible. So we appreciate his support of the channel. If you have any insurance need, take it from us. Mark is your guy. Homeowners, life, earthquake. I have all 3 of those policies through Mark, and he's saving me money with those policies. He can save you money. In addition to that, if you ever have to file a claim, I did in 2022. He saved us so much time and money, truly thousands of dollars, and probably 100+ hours of time. It was that absurd what we dealt with in 2022. So if you've got an insurance need, by the way, he does auto. He could save you $750 or more just by switching. He's a lifelong Padres fan. He's a native San Diegan, and he's been a supporter of this channel since day one. Click the link in the description down below to get to his website. You see it on the screen, or call Mark. He'll talk to you about the Padres. He'll talk to you about saving money on your insurance as well. If you support the channel, please support our title sponsor since day one. That's Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance.
Yep. All his information on the ticker below, mnimitz at farmersagent.com. When you reach out to Mark, let him know that John and Jim from the wrap-up show sent you.
Joshua, thank you. Guys, if you're here, we appreciate your support of the channel. You can click the $ below the chat box. As you know, we get to every single super chat like this one that just rolled in from Joshua. So thank you, man. He says, Bryce Johnson's a career 151 hitter. Someone please explain. Please bring back a Zokar. I mean, it's just based on need, really. A Zokar is a center fielder, by and large. Bryce Johnson's a right fielder. He's kind of next man up in the spot, veteran guy that, truthfully, I think they started Bryce Johnson his first 4 or 5 games in right. I think they were 4-0 or 5-0. Didn't have anything to do with him.
No.
The record's still good, obviously, since Bryce Johnson's been in the starting lineup. But yeah, I mean, you can't. We said it, Jim. Even when things were going well, you're not replacing Fernando Tatis Jr. with anyone they have in their system, including Bryce Johnson, and that's becoming more clear by the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a black hole out there. Anytime he comes to plate, you expect nothing from him.
Exactly. Maybe a single, maybe.
I mean, literally, you expect literally the same as you would expect right now from me and John if we were to take an at bat.
Yeah, I want productivity out of it. Like, hey, move a runner, sack fly, bunt. I don't know. Maybe he's done that a time or two. But again, the bases loaded spot was a big spot where you're asking him to put the ball in play. Shoot, maybe he hits into a double play if he puts the ball in play. But that was a very big spot in the game. And it turned the game. I mean, can you only imagine if Fernando Tatis Jr. was up in that spot, he wouldn't have been based on lineup, but you get my point.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's everything. I mean, that's why I have said that if you expect to play without guys like Musgrove, Darvish, and Tatis for 70-plus games, you're asking for trouble. Can you really overcome that? Is that actually doable? I would say no, but I think it's doable if you upgrade at the deadline, plus get guys back. I think that's the only way you can do it. Otherwise, I just don't know how you can expect to play. I don't know. At what clip can you play it without Fernando Tatis Jr. for the rest of the year, for example? I mean, I know they had 2022 without him, but it just seems like you're asking for trouble with Bryce Johnson for Fernando Tatis Jr. and so on and so forth.
So what do you make of 5 All-Stars for this team?
I mean, I think that at least I would argue they're all deserving. Merrill's absolutely deserving. It's an amazing accomplishment. One of the youngest, All-Stars in like recent baseball history, which is incredible. I think Arise earned it. He hasn't been the same hitter here recently that he was earlier. Suarez has absolutely earned it, and Tatis, I think, earned it, and obviously Profar earned it. So I think it's right, truthfully, Jim. I know it hasn't resulted in some team that's 10 or 15 games over 500, but I guess the only one, if I want to be completely objective and unbiased here, and it's hard when you look at the piece of paper and Arise is hitting 312 or whatever, I think Luis Arise is probably a stretch as a second baseman reserve. Because I don't know. He's had some moments, but it doesn't feel like over the last month he's been as impactful as he was over the first month with the Padres.
I would put it more on a reputation pick than anything, just because he's a 2-time batting champion. Last 2 years, he had an amazing season last year for the Marlins. And this year he's in 12?
I think it's 312. I mean, that's still
312?
pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, I mean, with the landscape of baseball, John, only being how many people hitting over 300 in the entire sport?
Handful, 10, I don't know.
And Luis Arias is one of them. Like, yeah, All-Star, go. I'm not going to sit here and be like, especially because we cover the Padres. Like,
yeah,
oh,
you
should have made it. I just find it hilarious how other fan bases, especially the Dodgers, are so mad that Luis Arias made it as a second baseman when, sorry, this feels like one of the only times in recent memory that from a Padres perspective, there's no complaints. There's no snubs. There's nothing.
There's definitely nice snubs.
There's not one guy on this team that we could have had a conversation about being an All-Star that didn't make the All-Star team. Now, if you want to go Machado, fine.
Machado, but I wouldn't go that far. If he made the team, I'd be like, that's probably a stretch, and he's rewarded based on reputation in his last 3 weeks.
But what we said Profar, Merrill, Tatis, Suarez, and Arise. I think we all talked about them, and I think this is an insanely incredible accomplishment for this organization to have Jackson Merrill be an All-Star at this stage of his career.
It is.
I know we talked about it earlier in the season, maybe even before the season. I said, if they don't make the postseason this year, yeah, everyone will be pissed off. But if you told me that Jackson Merrill would make an All-Star team and win Rookie of the Year, I think there'd be part of the organization that'd be like, yes. Even if they didn't make it, they'd be still devastated and disappointed with it. And a lot of people would probably be fired. But I also think, too, they'd be like, well, hey, we did good with Jackson Merrill. We got something right. And for him to be an All-Star at 21 years old, I mean, reading this tweet from AJ Cassavell is incredible. Players younger than Jackson Merrill, 21 years, 88 days old, next Tuesday, to appear in an All-Star game in the last 40 years. Bryce Harper, Pudge Rodriguez, Ken Griffey Jr., Mike Trout, A-Rod, Jose Fernandez, Manny Machado, Miguel Cabrera, and now Jackson Merrill. What? He's also the youngest player from the Padres organization to ever make an All-Star team. And he's also the youngest in this year's game as well. Younger than Paul Skeens, younger than everybody. and he's an all-star, and he deserves it. And the Padres' entire outfield are all-stars.
Yeah, it's bonkers, and it's a credit to Merrill and the organization and AJ Preller. I mean, people deserve credit for it. Um, what I would say, what I would say is just hope that this thing continues for as long as we all hope it continues for Merrill. And I'm not talking about 2024. I'm talking about the future. I'm looking at a guy, for example, today, Corbin Carroll, with Arizona that had this amazing season last year. I think it's a 22-year-old in the big leagues. Incredible, right? Near 900 OPS. And he's not that player right now. So I could care less about him winning Rookie of the Year. I could care less about him being even in the All-Star game. What I do care about is replicating. If he can do this for perpetuity, right? Not every year is going to be identical.
5 of the next 7 years.
Yeah, look at Manny Machado, and there's good years, there's bad years. Same thing with Xander Bogaerts, whatever. But Tatis, yeah, if 4 of the next 6 years look like this, 5 of the next 6 years look like this, for Jackson Merrill, you've got one of the true great outfielders in the game. But again, nobody can predict that, and that's why we talk about contract extensions with Jackson Merrill. Is it too soon? Do you wait it off? What's he going to project to be? Is this the finished product? Is it not? I mean, there's all these great questions about Jackson Merrill. And if he does this for 4 of the next 5 years, or like you said, 5 of the next 7 seasons, that's truly an incredible feat and could help lead the Padres to, postseason appearances as a result of it. So that's all I hope for. I just hope this is the player that the Padres have for the long term and that nothing changes moving forward. And that's hard to predict with baseball. There are guys like Manny Machado that put together full careers, and then there's other guys that don't. So hopefully Merrill is able to put together a full career based on what we're seeing as a rookie, as a 21-year-old. I mean, he made his major league debut as a 20-year-old. That's bonkers.
Would it be crazy to say that at this moment in time, he should already be considered like a cornerstone of the franchise?
Yeah, no, he has to be. I mean, they don't have any choice.
Right.
Because he's controllable, he's a starter, he's productive. I mean, they have no choice other than to build around him, as they should. But you can't build around Manny and Bogey. I mean, you can, but you're going to build around Merrill. I mean, you're going to build around Merrill and Tatis, but truthfully, you're probably building more around Merrill than you are about Tatis, because Tatis hasn't been able to stay on the field. And Jackson Merrill, thankfully, has been able to this year.
Merrill has the it factor. He plays the game the right way. He's a guy that you just, as a fan, I think, gravitate towards as
I agree.
Being somebody that you like rooting for. And I think that it is a scary thought, because it always is going to be there. Like, man, can he replicate this? Because there's been so many rookies that have either great starts or, whatever to their careers, and they just completely fall off a cliff.
Yep.
And you just hope that's not him. I think his mentality gives him a really good opportunity to where he won't go through those, but it still is a possibility. And I think just enjoying the moment right now that is the 2024 season of Jackson Merrill is something that I think a lot of Padres fans didn't know if or when was going to happen with a prospect that was drafted by the organization in the first round, that was developed by the organization and brought up at such a young age. I mean, that's literally a trifecta that has not even remotely close to happen here under AJ Preller. Under Preller.
Yep. And this speaks actually to my point, Ivan, where he says Merrill has no chance at Rookie of the Year. Just be real, please. Skeens is a generational talent. I don't care about that. Truthfully, my point is I don't care if he's Rookie of the Year. I care that this is who he is. That conversation.
He's a freaking all-star.
No, I'm saying I care that this is who he is moving forward.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't care if he wins Rookie of the Year. I would take a good 2025 over Rookie of the Year and a bad 2025, and every Padres fan should. So I could care less if Skeens wins Rookie of the Year, truthfully. And I have no clue. If Skeens is healthy, he'll probably win Rookie of the Year. If he's not, or if he's shut down, maybe he doesn't. He's got a 2 ERA. He's an all-star. He was the first overall pick. He has more national pub and reputation than Jackson Merrill. There's no question about it. he'll likely win Rookie of the Year. But that doesn't take away from Jackson Merrill. And it also doesn't prevent Merrill from being a really good player moving forward. If Skeens wins Rookie of the Year, I mean, is it going to ruin your offseason? It's not going to ruin my offseason.
Here's the thing, because I've been seeing a little bit of it lately, and I see a little bit in the chat too. It's like, Jackson Merrill plays every day. No shit. He's a center fielder.
Yeah.
Paul Skeens is a pitcher.
Right.
And I know that Paul Skeens didn't start the year with the Pirates, but I'm telling you, if as a rookie, he goes 10-2 with a 2.4 ERA and like pitches 130 innings and has 200 plus strikeouts, he's going to win Rookie of the Year.
He probably doesn't even have to do that much.
No, that right there would be just through the roof.
Yep.
And I think I'm okay with that, unless Paul Skeens doesn't have those numbers, and he does have just like kind of average numbers, and he goes like 7-5 with a 3.4 ERA or something around those lines, and maybe only pitches like 110 innings. And then Jackson Merrill finishes the year hitting 292 with 23 home runs and 85 RBIs.
Yeah.
Then I would have a problem with it. But dude's an all-star, and by dude I mean Jackson Merrill. He is a guy that every Padres fan's been waiting for a decade plus from this organization and administration and AJ Preller. And you finally get it. And if he doesn't win Rookie of the Year, will it be disappointing? Now, there's still a lot of time left, so who knows what happens, right? He could fall off a cliff. Then we won't even have the discussion, right? But I think the main and most important things are postseason, and that's it. Winning baseball games. He's an all-star. To me, that is an incredible accomplishment in itself, to be a 21-year-old center fielder all-star. That is
it's amazing.
Insane. And if he wins Rookie of the Year, then that will be something that will be applauded and celebrated forever around here. But the most important thing is winning.
Yeah, making the postseason.
Making the postseason.
If he wins Rookie of the Year and the team misses out on the postseason, I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know if anyone agrees with this or not. Could care less. If he wins Rookie of the Year and the team missed the postseason, that to me is putting lipstick on a pig. Who cares? If he's Rookie of the Year and they're in the postseason, great. That's amazing. That's an incredible accomplishment. Winning team and you're Rookie of the Year, that's great. Miss out. Now, again, they're trending towards the postseason. They got to finish off the season. So, to me, it's all about winning. Like you just said, getting to the postseason. Speaking of winning, you can win at life with a MOVA Globe. These Padres MOVA Globes are available right now, officially licensed. All 30 major league teams, including the Padres, available right now. Click that link in the description down below. Use promo code PWS10, and you're going to get 10% off. All right, this technology, by the way, this thing rotates all day with artificial or natural light. There's magnets inside as well. The technology was invented right here in San Diego. Cardiff by the Sea, in fact, is where it was invented. And they've got every major league team, okay, every single one, as you can see on screen. So click that link in the description down below, and you can get, again, 10% off. But wait, there's more. In addition to the MLB collection, they, of course, have much more than that as well, like the Carina Nebula collection, which is actually the Carina Nebula from the James Webb Telescope, maybe? I don't know, But
what?
Let me click on this.
What?
Nobody likes telescopes more than like Jim.
I don't
like this globe right here.
I don't like telescopes. I like space. The final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise.
Look at that. Look how pretty that is.
Its continuing mission is to seek out new life. And what is this?
What? Are you talking?
To boldly go where no man has gone before. Look at
that. MOVA. Boom. Just play that one more time, real quick. We've got magnets for torque. What? Operates freely from the base. As you saw, it was just in my hand. Transparent outer shell made from high-quality acrylic. This isn't low-quality acrylic. Rotates with any light source, like your cell phone light. No batteries. Workhorse. Uses high resolution satellite images taken from NASA. Okay? Anyway, available now. Use promo code PWS10. Click that link in the description down below.
I know it's Star Wars weekend, not Star Trek weekend. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Star Wars weekend was kind of a dud.
Dud.
Sure, 500,000 people, but they lost the series.
True.
Richard, thank you. He says he's a huge Merrill fan. If the Soto trade doesn't happen, no Merrill. Easy guy to root for, and that's coming from a Dodger fan. Well deserved. That is a really interesting point. I think you might have had Merrill, guys,
Yeah.
because I think they probably
Put Profar at first.
Well, hold on. You
Or
wouldn't have
DH.
you wouldn't have Profar.
Yeah, you would have. 1 year, 1 million. Of course they would have Profar.
Well, no. Hold on. If you had Soto, Merrill's definitely your center fielder to start the year.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's definite because he had spent all offseason working out and left. Maybe. I don't know.
All I know is after they lost Soto, thank God they got a leader in Jurickson Profar for this team.
Profar wouldn't have been playing.
Thank God.
If it's Soto, he wouldn't have been playing.
I mean, to think that of all people, Jurickson Profar is the glue of this team, the heartbeat, the leader that this team needed after last season is a credit to Jurickson Profar, man. And he deserves more than $1 million for probably all the shit that he has done behind the scenes to make sure this clubhouse is what it is today.
He can earn 2.5 this year, but that's fair. But if Soto was here to start the year, again, if you want to go down that path, Profar is a freaking bench piece, dude. I'm sorry. And it would have taken him time to work his way into playing every day. He would not have been playing every day from day one. It just wouldn't have happened. It just wouldn't have. Not if Juan Soto was here. So that's kind of like an indirect win in the Soto trade. Now, again, Profar, is he going to replicate this in 2025? Is he even going to be here in 2025? But in the short term, like Profar has put up like a Soto type year, as you've said before, and that's what's happened. He really has been very comparable. High on base, high slug, high batting average, playing every day. What else could you ask for from him?
Yeah, I mean, if you just took out all the names and you said, all right, this is what you're getting production wise from your left fielder, you'd be like, oh shit, that Juan Soto's having a great season. And it's just incredible that they lost the production of Juan Soto. And they also got the 28. How much is he making right now in arbitration? 28, 30?
28 or 30. I think it was 30.
Yeah, you took $30 million off the books and you replaced it with a $1 million player giving you the exact same production.
So Soto is 294 with a 430 on base and a 984 OPS. He's hit 21 home runs and driven in 63. That's bonkers.
Okay, maybe not the same production, but still.
It's very comparable. I mean, Profar's hit better, 315. His on base is lower, 408. It still leads the National League. His OPS is 906, which is one of the top 5 in the National League. He has hit 14 home runs. He's driven in 59. So he's like 90% of Juan Soto this year, which is amazing.
For $1 million.
For 3% of the salary. He's 90% Soto for 3% of the salary.
I really do think that, again, the team's 4 games over. They're not 14 games over or 24 games over. Okay. But it can be said that the upgrades that this team made by simply getting a competent center fielder, night and day, dude. Night and freaking day. I mean, what Trent
was so bad.
I mean, Trent Grisham is an embarrassment to the sport of baseball. He truly is. He is an embarrassment to the game. I don't know if you've seen some stuff he's done lately with the Yankees, John, but how he's not DFA'd or cut or whatever right now is
because he's so good defensively that everyone told me. You have to have him for his defense.
No, he sucks and he's horrible. And the upgrade at center field has been through the freaking roof. Also, the upgrade you have just over what Jake Cronenworth did last year to what Jake Cronenworth's done this year has been incredible. And then you also add Luis Ariz, who's a 300 hitter. You know, just upgrades there. You just are getting areas of your team that aren't as good. Like you don't really have a front line ace pitcher like you did with Blake Snell.
Right. No, you don't have a Cy Young Award winner. That's for
No,
sure.
you don't have a Cy Young Award winner. You also aren't getting the same production like you did last year with Ha-Seong Kim. I mean, Ha-Seong Kim last year at this time, John, he was one of the best players in baseball. Like hitting a leadoff spot, he really took off.
Yeah, he had some. Yeah, you're right.
And then middle relief has been shit, and your starting rotation is kind of, I'm not going to say in shambles because it's really not. The word I'm looking for probably is not as consistent.
I just think it's tenuous because I think it's thinner, but I think Waldron, King, Cease, you'll take your chances.
Yeah.
Vasquez has been good, and Major, you can't pitch him every fifth day in the second half of the year.
I did not know this, and I sent it to you the other day. I didn't realize Seth Lugo is the best pitcher in the American League, and he's probably going to start.
It's crazy.
He's probably going to start the All-Star game this year.
Should have kept him.
Probably should have kept him. Yeah, but was that his decision or the Padres? It was the Padres, right?
It was the Padres. Yeah, they could have him. They didn't have the money. They still don't because you got what 12 roughly a year. They don't have that 12 right now. They put him over the CBT as they're constructed currently.
He signed for the same money that he could have got here if the Padres
with Kansas City. Yeah. Moises, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you guys. Please subscribe here on Content for Padres fans. Thanks for the supers. Click the $ below the chat box. Merrill's success is sustainable. I agree. He's had a good eye at the plate. He's patient, has great plate discipline, and works deep into the count. Listen, hopefully, there's no guarantees. No, there's no guarantees, obviously, but you have to love what you've seen. Absolutely love it. And if he does it for 2 years, then hopefully that's who he is. 1 year, there'll be questions heading into the sophomore slump thing is weird. It impacts players in all sports, but maybe he's going to be immune to it. But let's just put together a full year first. So hopefully he does this for another 70 games, and then we'll address 2025, this offseason or next year.
Like, if you look at what Corbin Carroll did last year, now he did have a shoulder injury, so that might have played a big factor into a lot of his.
True, but he was playing. When did he have that injury?
Last year.
Well, then why has he been awful this year?
Well, ever since the injury, he's been awful, is my point.
Has he been? He was awful at the end of 2023, we're saying?
Pretty sure he was not as good as he was before the injury.
Okay.
But case in point, last year, it was incredible for him. Incredible year for Corbin Carroll.
I know. I brought him up on this live stream.
And now this year, dude's hitting 210. Now he torches the Padres, it seems like, every time they play him. But he's got a 615 OPS. He's hitting 210 on the year. That's abysmal. I hope that Jackson Merrill's success is sustainable. But you also have to remember, and I saw it in the chat, and it's a very good point. 30 days ago, Jackson Merrill's OPS was below 700.
Yeah, but that wasn't really concerning because he's more of like that. You were thinking he was more of an Arise type. You're just going to get on base. He's not going to hit for power.
Right. What I'm saying is, did he just... It's a fair question to ask. I hope it's not true. Did he just have a good month, or is that more of the player that he is going forward?
I don't... Let me just say this about Carroll real quick. 815 OPS last September. He had a 773 OPS in the postseason. So I don't know when the shoulder thing happened, but it didn't really deter him in 2023. And if it happened in 2023, I don't know how 2024 has anything to do with his shoulder from 2023.
Well, didn't he have like a 900 plus OPS for the first 3 or 4 months of the season?
Maybe. Alejandro, thank you. He says, love that 5 pods are all-stars. Crazy that 7 former Padres are all-stars too, though. Well, that's because every player has some tie to the organization. So do we know who those players are? Like you said, Lugo's one of them. Obviously
Lugo.
Soto's one of them.
Let me see if I can name them all.
Grisham.
We got Lugo. Grisham. We have Soto. Seth Lugo, Juan Soto, CJ Abrams, Emmanuel Clase, Josh Naylor, that's 5. What am I missing? Lugo, Naylor, Abrams, Soto, Clase. Oh, Matt Strom.
Matt Strom?
Yeah.
How?
Oh, and Kirby Yates.
Oh, yeah. Yates has been incredible.
There you go. So
How is Matt
Lugo,
Strom?
Soto, Lugo, Abrams, Clase, Naylor, Strom, Yates.
What?
I know.
Is Strom pitching in leverage? I mean, he must be because the Phillies are good. He's got 159. Wow.
Kirby Yates is better.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's not like it's hard to make an all-star team when you're not closing.
The Phillies have 7 All-Stars this year.
That's crazy.
Padres have 5.
How many do the Dodgers have?
They got Ohtani.
He made the
Glasnow.
team? They have
Do
6. They have 6.
Hold on, let me guess. Glasnow, Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, Will Smith. And who's the 6th?
Teoscar Hernandez.
Oh, yeah, Teoscar Hernandez. That's right.
Will Smith and Jerks and Profar are going to be hanging out in that clubhouse?
Wow, I wonder if they're going to like talk and say, "Wow, I didn't know this. I didn't know you were here. I thought you were irrelevant."
That's going to be super weird, truthfully.
Hope he
I
fucking.
mean, Profar doesn't really talk, but it's still
Profar
weird to
that
me.
is. Yeah, I know.
By the way, I don't know how much. Well, you were there. You didn't watch any of it. The Roku broadcast was like the greatest thing that's ever happened.
Really?
Because
I didn't
you had
watch some of it.
in-game interviews with players. They interviewed Profar during the game.
I know. I watched.
In left. He was in the field.
I saw it.
And when he made that shoestring play, he was like talking. But you didn't hear it, right? You were at the game. How'd you know he was
in the suite? When you're sitting down in the suite, John, they have the TVs above you, and it's like
you can hear it,
and you can hear the TV broadcast.
That's weird because I was with you last year. I don't remember that.
Well, you weren't paying attention because Jones was running around all the suite.
Oh, maybe. Well, anyway, they interviewed Profar and they interviewed Lavello and they interviewed. I mean, I thought it was like the greatest thing that's ever happened. It was Padres.tv, like normal, also available on Roku, interviewing players in game. Now the crew was weird. Whoever the hell was working with Orsillo, but
was it somebody from the DBacks broadcast?
Yeah, it was all the guy was doing was talking. Man, there was a lot of talking going on. Way too much for Don's liking, I feel like, because it was a lot of talking.
It still doesn't hold a candle to what Apple TV Plus puts out there as far as their production.
No,
goes.
not quality wise.
Yeah,
not like 4K resolution wise.
Like that quality that Apple TV Plus puts out there. I don't care
amazing.
about the announcers, whoever does it. I don't know who does it, but anyway, it is incredible. And I don't know how they can do it, but they need to put that in for the World Series.
I don't hate that idea.
I need 4K. I need probabilities. I need these crazy good camera angles. I need the crispest quality possible when it comes to the World Series. Because if I'm going to have to listen to Joe Davis, which I actually don't have a problem with it all, but I need the best quality possible.
You need it. Well, you're not going to get it because it's on Fox for the next 10 years. Guys, we want to remind you about Underdog Fantasy. If you use promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP, you're getting a 50% deposit match on your first deposit, plus a free special pick. By the way, Jim, I had a huge winner. Remember when we played Friday night? And I think I put in
Did you win?
Home. No, but I won another one that I put in.
For how much money? $30? I
won $30. Plus, I got my $10 wager back. So it was actually a $40 take home, although 10 was the wager. But I won $30 on Underdog Fantasy, and you can too. Or you could be like Jim, you could win $400 or $500 by playing. Use promo code PODSWRAP. That's PADSWRAP. Get the free special pick. Get the 50% deposit match, which means you deposit $50, they'll give you free $25. You deposit $500, they'll give you a free $250. So on and so forth. Couldn't be easier. Couldn't be simpler. The pick'ems are incredible. Padres pick'ems. You can play across sports. There was one, the Profar Machado. I think a couple of people played it when we did that Saturday night. And that didn't hit. It did Friday night, but we didn't play it Friday night. But, you get a couple of home runs, pick'ems to go your way. You get a Machado home run, you get a Profar home run, boom, you're like 100 to 1. payouts, right? $10 can turn into 1,000 or more. So click the link in the description down below. Remember to use promo code PODSWRAP. That's PADSWRAP. Simple higher or lowers, higher than a half home run, lower than 5.5 strikeouts. It's so simple. It's so easy. You can play along every single day if you're a Padres fan. And we encourage you to do that. You could be rich like me. You could be walking away with $30 like me, never having to work again.
Yeah, scan the QR code right above my head here. Use promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. Put a deposit in, start playing, win some big time money, and you will thank us later with all the money you're winning by playing Underdog Fantasy.
Dude, I know who he is. I had no clue who he was doing the game. Like when I'm watching a game, like Jim just said, I don't know who's doing the Apple TV games because I don't care. It's like when I'm listening to the radio, like, who is that? Oh, it's Hartman. Like, right. I'm not like doing the deep dive on who's calling the game. I turn it on the second inning and I hear two people talking. I'm like, I wonder who that is. I mean, I could have, I just don't care. Because it's a one-off game on Roku, which happened to be on Padres.tv, which I liked.
Right.
All right. Well, that should do it for tonight. Join us tomorrow, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, 3 p.m., or on our YouTube channel. Search for John and Jim 760, or you can find us on the free iHeartRadio app. We'll be talking about the Padres' upcoming series against the Mariners from 3 to 6 p.m. So join us on Monday. We'll be breaking down this past weekend, of course, against the Diamondbacks as well. So please join us. And again, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, we encourage you to do that. If you're a Padres fan, we're the home of real Padres talk. So please subscribe. We'll have a ton for you in July with the trade deadline and the All-Star game approaching. So please subscribe. Smash the like button for me as well. You can follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. Thank you for the super thanks if you're here on replay. Thank you for those that become members by clicking the join button down below. Support our partners, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance, our title sponsor. If you have an insurance need, Mova Globes. If you want 10% off, use promo code PWS10. Look at Jim profiling it. That's beautiful. So beautiful. Look at this thing. Yeah, just take that puppy down. Look at that. I want all 30 teams. I'm not kidding.
Michael, I'd rather have like the Earth. Like I'd rather have all 30 Earths.
Would you rather have Merrill win Rookie of the Year or have 30 Earths?
It's the easiest answer in the world, bro.
30 Earths, right?
30 Earths.
Me too. And also use promo code PODSWRAP to get that 50% deposit match at UnderdogFantasy.com and the free special pick as well. It almost
fell off my freaking shelf there.
Dude, that would have been bad. That would have been bad. Support the wrap-up show. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you tomorrow on John and Jim. Support John and Jim, too. If you like John and Jim, if you want to continue to see John and Jim, support the channel. Support John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760. For Jim, I'm John. This has been the wrap-up show.